Hi guys, I'm going to show you here how to transfer your data from your Navigator Teacher software to an Excel file. So let's say for instance we have a file that we were working with and we wanted to take just the students' responses on that particular file and put them into an Excel file so that we had record of it that we could use elsewhere. We can do that. Now this is going to be very helpful in terms of our ILC reading survey that we are going to be taking over the next week. And one of the things that we would really like you to do is to please submit your data to us in an Excel file. In order to do that, you need to know how to copy it over. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing I have here is I've sent my file out. I've received it back. This is my ILC reading survey. And what I want to do is actually open it in my review workspace so that I can take a look at it. So I'm going to click on the arrow on the side and open in review workspace. You can save it to the portfolio if you want, as long as it is in your class record. It ought to be okay though. So I have it open here. I also have just an Excel file open so that I have it ready to go to copy things over. Now I'm going to click on my student data for each question. So this is my first question here, and this is the student data for it. So the question is, what is your grade? Now in this view right here, it's not going to give me an option to copy all of the data. However, I do have other ways that I can look at my data. So down here in the lower right hand corner, we have data view. Normally what you will see is a bar graph. That is the default setting. However, we do have an option to look at it as a frequency table. So I'm going to do the second button right here, the one in the very corner. And that's going to put all of my data into a frequency table. So I have my response choices, and then I have my frequency with which they occurred. This is where the easy part is. Right click on this table, and you have an option here to copy the selection or copy the entire table. There's no highlighting required. I just need to copy the entire table. That's what I'm going to do here. Don't worry about switching it to a student table. This will attach their name. At this point, this is not any data that we're looking for. However, if you wanted to display that data or have that data for yourself, you would be able to do that at this point. You could change which way you're looking at it. We're just going to copy the entire table. I'm going to go over to my Excel file right up here in the corner. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste. And there it is. There's my table. There's all of my options. So this was what grade are you in? And this is the frequency with which that response was given. I'm going to go back over to the Navigator software and go to the next question. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Again, I have a bar graph. That's not going to help me much here. Table is what I'm looking for. So down in the lower right hand corner, I'm going to go to table. Click on that. I should see response and frequency. Right click on my table and select copy entire table. Go over to my Excel file. Let's leave a space in between our data so that we have a clear idea of what each question was, where it starts and where it ends. So I'm going to skip this row actually and go to the next one. And this is where I'm going to insert my data. So I'm going to paste. Insert woodwork. Paste is much faster. Paste my data. So there's my questions. There's the frequency with which they occurred. I'll do one more for you. Go down to the next question. This is the one I was working on. This is the next one. Again, that's a bar graph. You need to go down to frequency table in the lower right hand corner and right click. We want the top one here. Separated responses frequency table. This is one where they have the option to choose more than one, so it's going to change the way that I look at things. This is the one I'm looking at. You can play around with the others and see which one works for the data that you want to present, but for our ILC data we are looking at the separated response frequency table. copy my entire table, and skip a row, please, in our Excel file, and then paste. If you know your paste, Control V works really well here. Now you can see that it didn't actually transfer everything over, so the first response should have been I read silently. It says something very weird. The code up here, what I need is all in here. I will be able to figure out what each one is, and they should all be in order, A, B, C, D, E, blah, blah, blah. So I don't need you to do anything with this. This is normal for some of the questions, and that is okay. What I am most concerned about are these numbers in your B column here, the second set of numbers, the frequency with which each one of these occurred. I will be able to tell which one is A, which one is B, which one is C, so on and so forth. So don't worry about retyping anything or anything of that nature. Leave it just as it is. That will be fine. If it's something that is not the way I need it to be, I will come to you and we will work to get it the way that I need it. It may be something where I just need to troubleshoot. So we can figure that out. So let's say I've gone through all of my questions here for my first hour, and now my second hour kids are taking my survey. This would actually be a really good time to put in some more data. So while one class is taking the survey, you can put in the previous class's answers. So I'm going to go to my other class, and I'm going to open their responses, open and review workspace. And you want to do this before you start the next class so that you can still get into it. So I would open it in the review workspace before you end the class. So now here, I'm going to do the exact same thing I was doing before. This is my first question. There's my student data. Bar graph isn't going to help me any, so I'm going to go down to frequency table, right click, copy entire table. And when we do a second class, let's leave a column space again, so that we have an idea of where one group ends and the next one begins. So I should have a row and a column in between each question and each class. And then all of my data should line up. You might have a few differences for some of the ones where there are free responses. That's okay. I can line things back up where they need to be. Putting everything in the table for me, though, will be a very big help when Leanne and I get around to compiling our data. So that's it. Very straightforward, copy and paste. Big thing to remember is that you need to put things into the frequency table, and we're looking for the response and the frequency, not the student table. Don't necessarily want the students' names attached right now. I might come back for that data later, but right now this is what I'm looking for. As usual, if you have any questions, please call me at 4286. One last thing, when you save your file, your Excel file, please save it with your name, ILC survey, if I can spell. That's better. And then let's do 3_14 for March 2014. Save this somewhere where you can remember it, email a copy to me, and you'll be all set. Thank you very much. I hope this helps out. Give me a call if you have any questions or are stuck. Thanks.